Okay, well,
Just to be
let me
clear.
respond to that,
Sure.
though. You still didn't answer the question. Having a building violation is not improper behavior. What was the conduct that took place between me and city staff? You know, if any one of us could have a building violation, it doesn't mean that's misconduct. What is the act of misconduct that you're charging me or that you're alleging that took place?
I've never alleged anything, Doug.
Well,
And having a violation is not right, it's wrong. Having a violation means that there's been a violation of the housing code. Collecting 2 star exemptions when you're not permitted to collect 2 means that something has happened that shouldn't have happened. Okay, and I think that even you're acknowledging that. So,
But
again, I don't understand, Doug, why you feel the need to be so combative at this point. Okay, no one on this dais has ever accused you of anything. Okay, but the allegations that were made were serious enough, and the reality that there actually were violations when you said there weren't, and the reality that you were collecting 2 star exemptions when you shouldn't have, creates an issue that needs to be addressed. We can't just turn the other way. And, you know, and for anyone up here, because they like you or are friends with you or don't want to believe anything wrong happened, for them to just walk away from it or not do their job, I think is wrong. And I think that's all Laura and I have been trying to do.
okay, well, I did address those questions. When I did say there were no violations, there were no violations. The violation came December 23rd, once the building inspector was hired in November, after the passing of Vinnie Tamburo. And those violations are 2, the written record. One is a conversion from a 2-family house to a 1-family, which took place in the early 1970s. I was in the 3rd grade. And the other is an illegal 3rd bedroom, which when you look at the housing listing, when I bought the house in 1992, it says specifically 3rd floor bedroom / storage. So this is an issue that all Rye residents face when they buy homes and they go to sell them, that they have to go back and legalize the work. And that's all I'm doing. So the question goes back to you, Councilman Sack. What is the misconduct that you are now saying has to be investigated?
First of all, this is the most I've heard you open your mouth about this in public since this first arose.
You can
3
ask
months ago.
the press, my statements, the documents I've supplied, people on this council.
Doug, I don't know what happened and what didn't happen. Okay?
I've explained what happened numerous times.
Well, forgive me, Doug, for not thinking that your explanation is completely fulsome, okay? So what I would like is for an investigation into what happened. I just want to know what happened, okay? I don't know what happened, okay? I would like to believe that there is nothing wrong with what happened. But at this point, I don't know.
Well, I just explained it to you. On the star exemption, we applied for, as required, our new primary residence in 2000. Now, normally, that is not removed necessarily. And so, when it became about, as I have said, with the change in the STAR program this year, there are a number of discrepancies statewide that came about, and the law allows the state or the taxing authority to go back 3 years. Well, that wasn't good enough. I owe what I owe, and I paid the full amount.
If you would, since you're now so ready to answer questions, Doug, perhaps what we can do is either have the council or have an investigator that we hire, which sounds like he knows a few people, put these questions to you, and then you can answer them. And this is all we've been asking for from the very beginning.
No, I just answered them, okay? And the staff has answered them before the Board of Ethics. So if you have issues, let me just finish them. This all started with a video that was taken by Leon Schulte of my homes, following me around, which this is a volunteer gig, folks, and that's a little creepy. And then it was followed with a complaint by Ray Tartaglione, and those allegations have been parroted by people on this dais. And so if we're going to do an investigation of the mayor and my relationship with city staff, I think we need to take a 360-degree view, and let's look at the relationship between the accuser, Ray Tartaglione, Mr. Floaty, and people on this dais. And so why is it that we have an ad during the campaign that specifically targets Councilwoman Parker and Councilwoman Gamache, paid for by Ray Tartaglione? Why is it that we haven't seen the financial disclosure statements of who contributed to certain campaigns? And were those filed properly? And the importance of campaign finance reporting. Why wasn't that done properly? And why is it a certain council person, while the rest of us are humiliated on the van, the women particularly, why is Joe Sack not on the floating mobile? And finally, why is it when the people of Hen Island foiled the city council for emails that not all of those emails were disclosed? So if we're going to look at the mayor and the staff relationships, let's do a 360-degree review and look at the relationships between the accuser and people on this council. And then I think the people of Rye will get a full understanding. But I say we move on. This is not about motives and people's intentions. This is about Rye, where we give people the benefit of the doubt unless there are facts to put forward. And my question goes back to Councilman Sack and Councilman Brett. What are the facts of misconduct that you're accusing the mayor and city staff of participating in? Because we're still waiting.
How disgusting, Doug. How disgusting you are to try to slime people like that after what you've just been through. Okay, I mean, that's just absolutely outrageous. You know, I went on record that ad that Ray Tartaglione did was absolutely wrong. I wrote a letter to the editor. Okay, I can't control what people do, Doug. So you're insinuating that I have some sort of relationship with Ray Tartaglione?
Just answer my question.
Okay, and you're insinuating, Doug. Excuse me, and you're insinuating that there has been a FOIL request that hasn't been answered properly. You know, that's just disgusting. I can't believe, Doug, that after all that has happened, this is how you're responding. I understand you're under a lot of pressure, and I understand this is taking its toll on you personally, but that's no way to act.
No. All I'm saying is, if you're going to question the relationship between the mayor and city staff with innuendo, then let's take a full view of the relationships with the accuser as well. Part of my talking points were to defend the staff as well, because it wasn't an attack on the mayor. It was an attack on the building inspector and the tax assessor, and did they act improperly as well? And so I think that they need some defending, because what the record clearly shows is there was no improper behavior. So,
Doug, you've taken an ugly situation and you've made it exponentially worse, and I think you should be ashamed of yourself.
Joe, really, yeah. I mean, I'm trying to defend the city staff.
Doug, you're trying to slime people and drop bombs, and it's inappropriate, and I resent it, and, you know, it's just completely wrong.
No, I disagree, Joe. When
you
you're
should be ashamed of yourself.
Nobody can
ashamed of yourself.
No, Joe, I think
you're supposed to be the mayor of the city, and this is how you act. It's absolutely awful.
No, it's basically asking the accusers to specifically say what the charge is.
I'll say what they are.
No, we're moving on with the
You
agenda.
better move on, sir. You can't answer the question. You can't answer it. How did I get a title report that said your house is a single family home, a legal single family?
Oh, no.
Please, don't speak from the audience. That's inappropriate.
You know, I mean,
Wait for
No,
public
come on.
time.
come on, let's go.
All right, so.